can't be seen, the room is so bright. I make things with the hides of animals, with plexiglass. I make things in deserted factories. This is a pile of bread. This is the frame that goes around the exhibition, which is made of a stone, an impression of my hand in 30 volumes of encyclopedia that have been rebound in the same paper. So it's framed in the room, it's making the focus. Sometimes I use text. This is salt and a dead snail. And I made a series of carpets. This is in Germany. This is a room full of different carpets. This is a carpet made of 37,000 needles, which I made a slight pattern on by putting paper and moving a magnet so I can make a circle inside. I don't know if you can see it on this rather strange flickering screen, but there is another circle inside there. I'm going to go quickly and then I'm going to concentrate on two things. The other object is made of bread and brass and glass together, and it's been covered with chalk. So if you touch it or you stand near it, you get a kind of cloud of chalk. It's very fragile, it's very tactile, and it's not going to last forever. Everything I've shown you so far, except the Bergen piece, only lasts as long as the exhibition and it's trashed. And I did this for 15 years, so there was a track of invisible shows. It's about, this place is a very interesting place. It's called the Elisa Brunnen. But it was once a very beautiful spa in Aachen. It's now a place where the homeless go. They live outside. So the noise of the homeless is coming through the walls. And the building itself is kind of slowly dying. It's turning into a kind of dowager. It's becoming ancient and lost. These are the bread, books made of bread. This is made of steel and salt. I get wonderful invitations. One of the great things about being a performance artist and an installationist is I'm cheap. So just arrive with a bag of stuff and make it there. I don't need a big trunk to take work back and forwards. This was an invitation to Reykjavik. I've been to Reykjavik many times to perform. This was an invitation to perform, but also to make a piece of work for an exhibition that was about a hidden show. Things in the old town, over your gardens, over your neighbour's wall. Can you see it? Can you not see it? So I had to make part of this in England and bring it there. And they asked me what I wanted. I said I want a big, black, tall, rough wall, like it's volcanic stone or something very rough. And in true Icelandic humour, they found me this wall, which is actually the British Embassy. I knew that Iceland was covered in areas, because Icelandic people, I don't know if they're in here, if you want to know about the contemporary world, anything, ask someone from Iceland, because they'll know more than anyone in Europe. Information is poured into that place, it's cherished. So I knew it was covered in areas, and this is before there were satellite dishes, so I made this object. But as you approach it, it looks like an area. It's 5 meters tall, going to a point. But when you stand underneath it, you realise it's something quite different. It's actually a large-scale model microscope, made of steel, welded together. All the burn marks showing, attached to the wall, as if it's climbing up. And of course you're standing underneath it, so you become the subject, the thing being observed, but the point is going to the stars. This is just up the road, Orderland Cooking Centre. Yeah, this is crazy. This show, I built the show a week. And it was about instruments of place. For example, the stone, the circular stone, pattern on the circular stone, which is from here, I put onto the steel shield with acid. I etched it in, so there was an association between the two things. And it's like it's kind of hiding, so perhaps a tongue, perhaps a voice. It was made, there were two installations of objects. This is lead, this piece of lead was poured into a frozen lake during the cycle of full moon. So we went there and built a fire, melted the lead and then poured it in. So the ice and the lead met to make this temperature object. became the battery of this installation. The thing above it was a piece of paper and sewn very carefully. The floor has been revarnished to make shadows. Can you see? It's true. White, red heart. Sight is a very important thing to me. I play with sight and blindness quite a lot in my performances. And I use sight as a continual reference point. What we see, what we think we see. This is one of a series of performances I made with vinegar. This is in Greenland, working for an Inuit audience. Vinegar comes in different bottles in every country, and everyone knows it. So the smell of it can saturate the body. And when I drink it, people just stop. Completely stop. A lit like something over there. It's very effective. Oxford, where I now live. This is a mound, a hill. On the top of the hill was the first fortification. And inside there's a structure. There's a spiral walkway, a pathway going up. The audience arrive, some from London by buses, some from local. They walk up the path and they get to the top. And all they see is a figure, me, reading to myself. Very boring. One of those performances you think, oh God, I can't do this one enough. And as they come close, I turn my back on them. It's raining. It lasts for 4 hours. No one quite understands what's going on. So they leave, generally a bit pissed off. And they go down another spiral. And as they go down, there's a hole in the side of the hill. And in that hole is a staircase going into the core of the hill. In the middle of the hill is a stone chamber, a remarkable small stone chamber, with a well going 40 feet down. My voice is in the well. So I'm standing directly above, about 15 meters above the solid earth, but I've got a radio microphone. So as I'm talking to myself above, I'm not paying attention to them, my voice is actually going into the earth below them. So once they're in this strange place, it's got a very particular atmosphere. It's very claustrophobic. The well going very deep. My voice is coming up from the well, so they suddenly realise it's live, and they're caught between it. As above, so below. Yes, you'll recognise it. Yeah, I've been here quite a lot. I get wonderful invitations. This is a one-day performance in outside the Leprosy Museum. And when you work in a public space, which is a bronze space, with people passing through in a shopping street, you sometimes have to paint with a larger brush. You add different elements to performances. It becomes less philosophic, more theatrical. Theatrical is the wrong word, this is something else. But I did it with a series of dummies and stayed in the place and used it. And we just had an association. I kept changing the bodies of these creatures. And I also bought some canned cherries, which I don't think you have. They're disgusting things. And when you open the can, they don't smell, taste, or look like a cherry. They're sort of sticky, black sugar. And this is a cherry tree, so I bandaged them back onto the tree. So the whole sort of thing of disease, and so I became stained, the tree became stained. And it was act of stupidity, but one that has some attachments. It took me to making other parts, machines, parts of myself, artificial parts, extending the body in different ways. This is from a video piece, Earth the Millennium. This piece was made in the streets of London where homeless people live and tramps live. And I became a kind of mechanical version of them and did it on the street for a while and operated. But part of me was always covered, part of me was working as a machine. Sometimes, this is a series of quick pictures that show how the body has to be distorted. The body becomes sight, the body becomes the place, and the expecting normal conditions bend and change. The act of shaving, if it continues above here, becomes a strange action. in domestic things and then just turning the volume up and see what happens. So little corners get questioned. This is in Rome. You don't get things like that in Rome. Some years ago I made a piece called Migrant, which was a video piece of me crawling from Trondheim to Oslo. Not all the way, I hasten to add. Just me here now. There were many different landscapes until we finally entered the city. And a man crawling in the countryside is one thing. A man crawling in the city is completely different. The same action. Okay, I'll just show you a few of these monsters that I make. This is Leipzig. South London. This is the Nordic Cyclops, which I made for the Scientific Museum as a solo show. So there are 5 of these heads, again travelling and stopping in the place. And when you go upstairs to the gallery, you can hear the sound, the ambient sound of this being made. But for once the creature doesn't talk, it's just there on the wall. And some daylight is allowed in. So the daylight trespasses the darkness, more or less like this. So on a bright day you can't see the image. But when a cloud comes across, or when it becomes the afternoon, the image will have to repent. Am I okay for another 5 minutes? Sure? You're right, 5 minutes? Sure. Okay. As I say, I get wonderful invitations. I was invited recently to make a work about the water in Berlin. So I went to look at the water in Berlin, canals, the ancient industrial systems, the river in its quiet places, the river in its tourist spaces, and travelled around it and realised the shows would be in the summer. And it occurred to me that the idea was to take the audience to various sites and perform. And it seemed to be probably better to bring the water to the people than take the people to the water. So I invented a piece to take 2 performers. And one of them is in that tower, which is the circular restaurant, which goes very slowly around endlessly. And it's a very wonderful place to be. And the other is in a railway line that goes around the city. It's a circular railway. But for 4 hours they would be travelling, one seated, the other in a carriage. I asked them if they could find somebody to do this with me. They were all the wrong people. And then it occurred to me that perhaps the answer was this. This is me performing in Copenhagen in 1980. And this is my son Jack performing in London last year. And I think you can see there's a little bit of resemblance. So we did it together, father and son. The thing we carried was a bowl of water, a simple bowl of water. So the idea was to make 2 halos, like that, and make it physically by carrying it through space. One in a railway system, the other in a smart restaurant. Jack's 20 years old, and I gave him the choice of which one to choose. And I knew which one he'd choose. He chose the one he thought was easiest, which was wrong. Very, very difficult sitting in a place for 4 hours and it was old. Anyway, there he is. Going around with people coming next to him, eating their lunch, drinking, going away, just rotating. So. I don't have shoes and socks on to show people that I'm in contact to the earth, and I'm not one of them. So when you sit down next to me, you think I'm normal because I'm wearing a suit. They suddenly realise I'm holding a bowl of water and no shoes, and it, you know, they get disturbed. Okay, something more serious. Very rarely do I make things which last for very long, as I've said. This is a painting of the execution of Lady Jane Grey, who was beheaded inside the walls of the Tower of London. They used this to do it. It's a brutal and savage place. This particular site is a site, this is where that square, where the square is. Come on. That's where they built the scaffold. 3 queens were executed there because Henry VIII wanted a new wife. Other people who got in the way, Elizabeth I, were executed there. They were beheaded. And there's also been this little plaque saying it happened. They decided they wanted a contemporary sculpture to mark the monument. And it was a kind of competition. I was asked to apply, and I got it. So this is a lasting forever monument, which is a very unusual thing for me to do. So I started by looking at the site. I wanted, when people went there before, there was nothing for them to do. They just stood there. And I wanted to make them rotate. I wanted them to go around like the halo, to move. So I made a circular poem. The poem was the first part of it. And once I wrote the poem, then everything else fell into place. And it's written around a black stone, so you can pick it up any word, but you have to walk around to read the thing. Gentle visitor, pause a while. Where you stand, death cut away the light of many days. Here, jeweled names were broken from the vivid thread of life. May they rest in peace while we walk the generations around their strife and courage under these restless skies. So already there's images of reflection. There's already images of circulation inside the work. The centerpiece was a pillow. Instead of a block and an axe, it was a pillow with an impression of a head, like a kind of suggestion of kindness. And I made it in clay, and then it was cast into this wonderful, wonderful translucent glass in Prague. And this glass picks up shadow inside it. It's remarkable. And then the disc above, green glass, has the names of those who were executed in clear. So you read clear through, so you can see the reflection, you can read it in the top, you can read it underneath. And it sits in this place, where it will stay. Now, I grew up very close to the Tower of London, so it's a little bit like coming home in a way. At the same time, we are very near the end now. I was working on a completely different work, but they got engaged. This is a model for people. I show at Matt's Gallery in London. This is the 4th show I've had with him. This is a model for it. It's a big concrete room, this wooden structure goes in. And the audience walk on the wooden frame around and look into the pit, which is made like that. In England, it's very popular to buy this artificial flooring, which is about that thin and made of rubbish, but it's supposed to look like proper wooden floors. I'm sure you appreciate this. And you buy it in a pack. Well, I made the entire thing in this. So it was hard, artificial, unrelenting, and fake. It was a bit like some 1960s Roman Catholic churches or some courtrooms. And I performed it for 10 hours for 16 days. So from 6 to 1 o'clock in the morning, every day for 16 days. And the audience can come and go. So I'm operating this internal space. This is the invitation card. It was called Antics with an X, which some people thought was Antichrist, but it wasn't. So I'm in there, I've made all these things in my studio for 2 years. The detailed things, getting ready for it. The structure took 2 months to make. Get a very quick, or almost at the end. The thing I'm holding in my hands is one of these laptops turned inside out, turned back to front. And outside, when the audience comes in the box, this is a terrible photograph, but there's a glowing box with a structure inside that looks, it's made of glass and perspex, it looks like a kind of design of a garden. What it actually is, it's a way of hiding a camera. So where they're peering into this thing, I've stolen their face. And by radio waves, it comes into the next room. So when they come in, I'm already carrying, I already have their head in this wooden frame, like a mirror, and it's moving. And the images were uncomfortable. There were things from recent images, maybe images of torture, maybe images of seclusion, isolation, but generally aimed at me, internalized. The white object is a moving ribcage They're made of plexiglass and it breathes. And it can be operated by itself. I can walk with it. It moves as it comes alive. Right, so it's normally the audience looking into the pit and my actions are internalised, not seeing them. But once or twice, every 2 hours, it changes. And I walk very fast around and start to look at the audience, start to see who they are. And then I have a gold cloth, I throw it over one of them, and then grab them, hold them very tight to my chest like I'm holding a child, sit next to them, pin them to the ground, and then drag them in the middle of his face. They're then put into this box. The box is closed, and I wrap on the box with a wooden structure, which is very, very loud because it's a concrete room. The people who I've captured, I've trained to be captured, but no one knows this. Unfortunately, I'm short-sighted. And a couple of times I got complete strangers. So the word went out, you know, this is for real, be careful. While I'm hammering on this, the rest of the audience is doing this with the concussions. It's very, very loud. But it also means it gives us space for them to crawl out the room, because it's hollow so they can disappear. I don't open it again. So I'm playing between images of torture, execution and conjuring. But you don't get the punchline. I don't then say someone's gone. I just move on to something else, which leaves the kind of continuing one thing after another. It's a kind of cycle. This is the last image. Recently, there was another thing in Birmingham. They had a new building, the Icon Gallery, and they said, when I go and christen it for them, baptise it. And I said, you sure you got the right person? They said, yes, we want you to make a piece. And this was the last part of the execution theme, which was not going away. It's so down the same movies have just come out on the internet, but if you've ever seen them, they are quite extraordinary, limited. It's not the actual death, that's irrelevant in many ways. It's just the spatial condition, the way it's shot, and it gets inside. So they built this metal thing, and I built the Traveller. So this is a 25-metre long steel rail, and the performance is for me to get from one end of it to the other. And the performances I've made up to this point have been intimate, they've been very close to people, I'm looking at their faces. With this, because I'm strapped, I can only perform with my upper torso, arms and head. So it's a different kind of thing, it's a bit like going to the zoo to look at something. So when the audience come in, this is what they see. And then when they're there, to begin the performance and to end it, it's two simple actions. I couldn't think how to do this, because if someone just comes and does it to you, it's wrong. It's got to be instigated by the person himself. And I thought that thing at school, you know, when you want to go to the toilet, leave the room. So that's the beginning and the end of the performance. And it's a kind of torturous journey. There's a lot of pain in this journey. And it's also, it's funny, and sometimes it looks like an animal, but it takes an hour to get from one end of the track to the other. But it was using this building, which was, the building instigated the work in one. The building was a deserted factory. And then I come off at the end and I just take the board and just give it to somebody else. So that's the end. And so it's a continuing engagement with places, atmospheres already there, and ones to be invented, and then occasionally incredible offers to think.
I was prepared that I could